And so how do you handle that when you're sitting there, like you're committed to an idea and you've got people telling you like you're wasting your time, it's not going to work, it's not worth the effort. Like, what kind of impact do you allow those people to have on you? Do you take their feedback to heart? Do you ignore them? What do you do to sort of deal with that kind of negativity?
Honestly, at first, I used to take it kind of hard because um, here I am, trying to do something not for myself, but, for maybe the school or a group and so on. And, well, I saw it as selfish reasons. For selfish reasons, you're going to block it, and that kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah.
So it would bother me. It would bother me. But as time passed by, I learned to separate like personal self
Yeah.
from the more professional,
Yeah.
self.
Yeah.
And then I would tell myself, okay, well, this was maybe like a professional kind of blow, but it doesn't change who I am. So, personally,
Yeah.
I will not allow that to affect me.
Yeah.
I am going to change it to what I have control over, well, divert it. So, whereas I cannot do it with the group or where I would need to go through a particular individual or individuals to do it, I will just forget about that part and focus on the part where I have full control over it and I can see, see it through. Yes. So at first it used to bother me, but after a while I just dismiss that. And I actually encourage people to dismiss it too. Like if you have an idea, do not let somebody else, not unless you know that what you're doing is right. It's for the greater good. Don't let people just put a damper on that and just turn your light off.
Right.
Find a way around it.
Yeah.
Yes, you don't carry the person like a burden. You let it go. People will be people.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. And then you keep that light burning. You do what you have to do. You channel it somewhere else because you don't want that to change who you are.
Right.
You don't really want that to affect you that way. So
No, Brene Brown says like what you should do is you identify a list of people who are allowed to criticize you. And these people are people who truly care about you, people who want to see good things for you, and I mean, people who can give you feedback. So it's a small list. You're not going to have 70 people on this list. You're going to have like 5 or 6 people, a small circle of people. And whenever those people give you criticism, listen to it because they care about you and they're giving you criticism because they want to see good things for you. Anybody that's not on your list, ignore their criticism because there might be people not on your list that are giving you good feedback, but by taking in all of the feedback from everybody you hear from, it's going to tear you down. It's going to kill that light, like you said. Limit it to just a handful of people who truly care about you and ignore the rest of it.
and I have actually done that. Well, not created the list, but in my head I have told myself whoever it is that the criticism may be coming from, whether that person is important enough to me or not. Yes, I have told it's like, okay, you're criticizing. Is it really coming from a good place? You're just doing it for, so some of them I just dismiss. And we know the people that we have around us. We know the people who will tell us what we don't like to hear, but we know it's coming from a good place. We know, and we know how to take that. Right? And the people who care about us, usually when they criticize, they give you the reason, they help you understand where they're coming from. The other people who will just tell you, no, we cannot do this, and they don't really have any valid reason, there's nothing to support what they're saying, and so on, then definitely that's a no. Okay, that's how you feel, whatever. Especially if you know that it has to go through you, or you know that you're an important player in that whole game. So they want to stamp their authority, or they want to show you that they can make or break that kind of thing. So I know exactly who to dismiss and who to really listen to. There are some people I will go to because I know they are not the yes no people. Because I don't want you to just tell me yes or no. I want you to tell me yes because if whatever, or no because I don't think. Don't just tell me. Oh, or they side with you for everything. Yeah, that's a good idea. And then if you were to ask them, what do you think is so good about it? They cannot really tell you anything much, you know. I like to get feedback from people.
Yeah.
I like to get feedback from people, so I know exactly who I can take that feedback from, who, so I can dismiss the others easily.
Well, that's it. It's so important. We need the feedback because the feedback is kind of how we grow, right? Like, how are other people perceiving me? And as we talked about earlier, other people have expertise that we don't. But finding a way to make sure we're taking in the good while blocking out the bad is really the trick to being able to survive as an innovator. Because when you're innovating, you're not doing things the normal way. And there are people who are really comfortable with the normal way that are going to push back against any innovation, any deviation from how it's always been done. And so we've got to be able to sort of block out the criticism from those people. So let me ask you. Earlier, I heard you say you were talking about at the time you thought it was for selfish reasons when people would like challenge or push back. So that book, Crucial Conversations, has that been a valuable book for you? Like, have you learned?
Oh yes, very much so, Mr. Blaine. Now, when I get that maybe kind of pushback, or not really the response that you would get from somebody, I look at it differently.
Yeah.
I look at it differently. Someone I was speaking to once spoke about the stories that we tell ourselves. Yes, Mr. Blaine. So right now, I make a conscious effort, to kind of prevent myself from going there. Because I believe before reading that book that you gave me, it was easy for me to just jump on that, especially now I don't blame myself for it, because of experiences that I have had, but then now I can still look at those experiences, but handle it differently. It may be a conversation, it may be reaction, it may be whatever it is. I read it a little differently now. Now I am a little more empathetic, because I'm thinking now, okay, you may be, supposing you were disrespectful to me, I don't necessarily just see you as that disrespectful person. Now I see you as a victim of something. That doesn't mean I 100% just take it from you, because you know my personality, right? But I am less jumpy. I see you as maybe some experiences that you had are what have you behaving that way. Maybe you felt threatened by whatever because of something that happened to you, or something, or a similar interaction with somebody, that kind of thing. So now I take it differently. I pause, I view it differently. I think I even listen to it differently. Truth be told, some of it I don't even listen to.
Okay.
I've learned to just kind of like separate, compartmentalize, and I have not finished the book.
Okay.
I have not finished it, but I'm really looking forward to reading, more and more.
Well, that's the idea. We don't. I mean, we use the idea of stories to help understand. Like you said, maybe you've had some past trauma or whatever. It doesn't mean that person's behavior is acceptable. And, assuming positive intent doesn't mean that negative intent wasn't there.
Right.
It's just a way to help us to kind of understand better and then figure out the better way to interact.
Yes.
Because if somebody is disrespectful to me and I immediately respond by being disrespectful to them, the conversation is not going to go anywhere. Somebody has to be able to stay in a stable state in order for a productive conversation to happen. And sometimes, like you said, when we want to push things up the chain, we meet resistance, And we've got to be able to have a productive conversation to get that idea pushed up the chain.
Yes, I from reading that book, I feel like I have really grown. But then it's only when I actually get some kind of conflict or
Yep.
that I will know how much I've grown. So I think I'm always looking forward to that kind of conflict. So I can test myself. Yes, I mean that would be the practical. That would be the practical. You know how we learn the theory, and then the practical comes along, and then we have to show how we can apply.
Yeah.
So I've not really had the practical. I mean, little bits here, and not anything too significant. I've not really had the chance to to see how much I can apply it when it actually happens.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of looking forward to a conflict so that I can.
What I can say is, like, in the beginning stages, you're probably not going to practice the tools in the moment right away, because you still have to sort of, like you said, you've read the theory, but now you've got to change the behavior. And what happens is, like, the initial conflicts that come up, you still respond like you always responded. But then afterwards, you reflect on them and you start, like you said, thinking about, okay, what are the stories I'm telling myself? And then as you get more comfortable in that reflection phase, eventually it gets to a point where, like, in the moment, all of a sudden the reflections are happening in real time then.
Yes, I hope whatever opportunities I get to see how much I've learned, I hope it comes it comes gradually, not like one big thing, because I
But like you said, you're having like little conflicts where you get to practice it a little bit, right? And those are all helping you learn. You don't have to have the big blow up. I think what you were kind of just saying right there is, when the big blow up comes, you want to have the skills.
Because I mean, Mr. Blaine, I'm not that person who just takes whatever is thrown at you.
Right.
So I mean, I don't want our viewers to think that I'm just, that's not it. But but
But you're not going to let yourself get pushed around. If somebody is really yelling at you and disrespecting you and whatnot, you're not the person that's going to sit there quietly and listen to it.
No.
You're the person that's going to speak up. You're going to jump in and push back.
So
And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, when we push back, we want to make sure we're doing so in a way that we can keep it productive. Even if the other person's being toxic, we don't want to cross the line and, like, drop to their level, right?